It's just a rule here we have to follow. They don't know why. So people like stability. I like stability as well. I think most of people like. So we tend to reinforce things in a way that makes sense for us. So we have our own snow globe. The case here is, I hear quite often, I work here for 20 years and we always work that way and it works well. Why we need to change? So from reading about liminal thinking, I understood there are only two questions that you get to get a positive answer in order to properly introduce change. So does it make sense in my own bubble, my individual beliefs? And is it externally valid? So an example I just gave about implementing successfully Scrum Kanban in teams. So it was coherent in the team bubble. So the question number one was good, but then on the company context, it wasn't valid. So the managers and the upper management, they were shutting down the way of operating of those teams. So it wasn't valid.
Because the coherence by yours is not asking the good questions. You can't implement Agile.
Yeah.
You implement something else. So
Something
how
else.
you implemented this Agile? It's like if you implement Scrum, is you implement the methodology. So you deliver. So we deliver the Scrum and time on mark on time, but we deliver no value. And this is a huge problem we made all.
Yes. Probably that's something that happened. They were following the rules of Scrum, but then there was no value.
The value is do something else. So I want to make Agile, honestly, what do you really want? I want having a best performance team. So what means best performance? So having different shutdown, which is the trick, the basic trick. Then you get the freedom to do something and perhaps to have a good change. But it's just my interpretation. Perhaps I'm completely wrong.
Yeah.
There's too many.
Yeah, indeed. And I'm right. With myself.
Yeah. I forgot what I was going to say.
So you're lost, I'm happy.
Okay. Move on. So the point is, people rarely test for ideas for external validity when they don't make sense for themselves. So the point that I'm trying to say is that we work first at individual level to finally work in like group level. Obviously, you need buy-in from upper and C level. That's a different discussion out of the context of liminal thinking. Because from liminal thinking perspective, you work on the ground.
I think it's no. It's also a belief. Because when you work at team level and you work at C level, usually you say, oh, perhaps I'm just operational, nothing. It's a belief. C level is just another team.
Artificial barrier, you would say.
Absolutely. And when you break down this barrier, you see these guys, board of whatever, directors, just as a team, this changes your way of doing things. You're back on to yourself.
That's a good learning.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, do you have budget?
I have success stories from the whole spectrum, but it didn't work that way. But anyway, we can talk about that later. This is.
I'm talking too much.
No, it's always good to talk. So to work with liminal thinking, we have to be willing to try things that even we don't believe. It's a difficult area to be always working on. That's why I said, like, sometimes I apply, sometimes I don't, because I'm self-sealing my own bubble myself. So homework 6, think about the relationships with family, co-workers. What kind of beliefs do you share with them? This is a boring one. You can do it later at home. So now we talk about more foundational beliefs, the ones that define you and your identity, your fingerprint. So the first time I took Uber was in the US a while ago, in Denver, Colorado. And I got this, I was excited because I've been told that Uber drivers, they were nice, friendly, talkative, they would introduce cool things about the city. So this guy that I took in the US, he seemed to know everything about Denver. So when we were driving, he was explaining everything. And this house, some famous actress used to live here, now she moved to LA, now doing whatever money she's making there. So he knew about everything. He was saying also, I did many businesses in the past. I had a laundry business, I had an accounting business, I worked for a lawyer in the past as well. So the guy has done a lot of work, different types of work. And then internally I was thinking, okay, why is now a full-time Uber driver? Just I had this internal thought. I didn't ask, but then he kept on saying more things about, in this street we could buy a house for $10,000 US 30 years ago, but nowadays if you don't have 500,000 US you cannot buy. So I think the government is just increasing the prices. So he was coming up with like theories about the government, even the CIA saying they were trying to make Denver like a more expensive place than it should be. That's why he couldn't be successful in his business. That's why he was now an Uber driver, but he doesn't know what's next. So for him, the picture of the future, you cannot see much here, is that everything is going to hell. So because of the president, because of the banks, or the government, everything was against him. So what is going on here? When you do everything you can, but you're still not able to succeed, what could it be?
You're on the wrong way.
You haven't tried everything.
For him, he has tried everything that he was available to him. For him, so at some point he just stopped believing that he would be successful, and he had these conspiracy theories about the government, CIA, everything he was saying. But it's all their fault, not my fault.
It's not a theory, it's reality.
You can't do anything. But that's his belief though, right?
Yes.
Like he didn't do,
so this was
a
very strong belief.
I think he was wrong. That was not CIA against him, that was NSA.
Exactly.
Because the Russians.
And actually, at some point, I was like, okay, I just want to arrive to my destination and buy. Because the conversation was quite weird, actually. Anyway, my first Uber experience. So this was for him now a governing belief. He was driven by this, so much like ingrained in his identity. And this is hard to change. At that stage, maybe only like some help, like a psychotherapist or psychologist, to work, because they are able to delve down that deep in a human being, like not like a business coach. Maybe some business coach, they can delve down that much, but usually people working in psychology, they can go really deep. So that's when you change yourself. So what do you think about your governing beliefs? Which are the ones that makes you being you? This one I have trouble answering even myself. I don't know what
I have one rule.
Yeah.
It's the IDC approach.
IDC.
I don't care.
I don't care. Well, sometimes I have that approach, but not always. Sometimes I care.
No, really, it's I don't care. It's to let it be. It's let it go.
I have two approaches, which I found on quotes. One is from Albert Camus, who says, I'm going to say it in French and after that I explain in English, c'est mal nommer les choses ajoute au malheur du monde. If you misname things, you add to unhappiness in the world. And I've seen so many people discussing and using same words with different meaning. So I say that when I come to a new job, a new mission, one of the first things I try to do is define things and words. And the other quote is from a science fiction author, and it's a book which is called Shockwave Rider, and I find it very funny because it's so true. He says there are two kinds of fools. The one who says it's old then good, and the one who says it's new then better. And I find it so true, just like the insurance companies do, or whatever companies say. We've been doing like that for 200 years, so we can change. And here, other agile managers or whatever will say, oh, there's a new methodology, we got to use it. Why? Because it's new, so it's good. It's going to solve all our problems. And you know what our problem is? No, I don't, but maybe it's going to solve because it's new. So that's some of my governing beliefs. And I agree with them.
Okay.
I have a few, but they're somewhat unusual. Love is the answer to everything.
Yes.
We're all completely omnipotent and only limit ourselves. Something like that.
Can you repeat it?
Love is love.
This is the French way of doing things. I'm French too, so. I love also very bizarre beliefs or very curious beliefs, like snow November, Christmas in December.
Snow November?
Christmas in December.
Neige en novembre, Noël en
It's a
décembre.
belief.
Yeah, it's a stupid belief.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It always happens.
Yeah.
Each and every time it's
We don't discuss beliefs because they are not right or wrong. Okay?
So this is a very, let's say,
It's not a
a little
belief,
bit
it's
British. No, you have to.
It's a reality.
Monty Python way of doing things.
So to start wrapping up, we saw that the problem is beliefs that we have to deal with. So what to do about it? First thing is assume you are not objective. So the typical example of shoot the manager here. So you have a manager and he's always asking for feedback on what's going on. People go there and tell, but if it's a bad news, he would just start screaming and being angry at you, and then at some point, people will stop bringing bad news for that manager. So if you're part of the problem you're trying to fix, then you have to assume that you are not objective. Next one, empty your cup. So you cannot learn anything if you're using your existing beliefs. So you have to let it go. So this is difficult. Yeah. So that's the moment you have to really understand why this person supports Trump. And you have to empty your cup. I haven't tried myself, as I said, but you have to.
It's too early.
It's too early. Yeah. Create a safe space, not necessarily a physical space, a psychological space that people can come and share their feelings and emotions with you. So one of the things I do right now in my current assignment, I have this corner where it's like colorful, we have sofas, whiteboard, everything, like it's cozy. So people come and they feel welcome to talk and share their feelings and thoughts. So we have a safe space. The next one is to triangulate and validate. So this is one approach also when I was a developer and I was writing unit tests for something that I have no idea what I'm testing about. So I would try first testing something around here, testing something around here, and then start getting closer to the what I really want to test. So liminal thinking, you might be talking to someone and ask about anything not related to what you want to find out, but then you start triangulating and validating. And you have to go around, ask questions, and make connections. So there is one example here. There's I forgot the name of the person, some famous consultant that works in for governments. So he went somewhere in Africa, somewhere very poor, and his assignment was to understand why some parts of the city were not developing as fast as others. So he essentially was just walking around the streets and finding out things. So he went to the fish market and he noticed, oh, always empty. Only gets crowded end of the day, like 6 p.m. Why? Because at that time they're selling the fish cheaper, because otherwise it will be going bad. So only that time people go there because it's going to be cheaper. So he got the information. So some other day he was in another part of the city walking around and having like some cold Coca-Cola, and then he realized, oh, ice. All those guys are producing ice here. There's not much availability of electricity. So he went to ask the guy that was selling the Coke and said, I buy the ice from a guy like 2 blocks away. So he went there to find out how he makes the ice. So he went there, and the guy had a small solar farm to produce and keep the ice. So what he did, he made the connection between that guy in the factory and the guy in the fish market to provide some sort of like ice factory, ice facilities for him. So make connections. You know, in big organizations, we have people doing good things in many parts of the organization, but there is no sharing. So we, as an outsider, it's very easy to just walk anywhere and ask things and make connections. This is something that happens quite often, which is like small victories, and it's quite interesting. Disrupt routines. This is something I'm well known for. I like to disrupt the routines. One example here is like in stand-ups, when people are standing up, they have this, especially in the beginning, many things they have the tendency to report to the manager. So, and intentionally, I take the manager away, invite for a coffee on the time of the stand-up, and I ask someone else to tell me if the team is still going to meet and see what's going to happen. So disrupt the routine without the manager. Act as in if the here and now. As I said earlier, many times in liminal thinking, we have to try something even though we don't believe. So you have to act, pretend you are someone else. That could be fun sometimes. So that's why we have games, so we can act. And make sense with stories, not facts. So it's very easy to say, okay, 80% of the companies applying Agile, they are 90% more productive. So you can say a lot of numbers, and people say, oh, okay, that's cool. But if you don't connect that to stories which relate to their boxed experience, it's going to be difficult to get their buy-in. And finally, you have to keep evolving yourself. I think being part of this kind of community, you are already naturally evolving yourself, or not. Some people might say we're just self-seeing more and more our logic here.
So this is also the trick for change. So if you
The
come
what?
with the trick for change. So if you want to change something, the belief is you have all the tools. And if you understand how to make a real change, you just know how you change yourself. Because by changing yourself, you're changing how you interact with the system, and this interaction by is the chain.
The chain of change.
It's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's
It's absolutely crazy, but it's much easier to work on ourselves to ensure the change.
Yeah.
It's kill the tension. You know, everybody's thinking about
As you said, is what I say here. Be the agent of change. Change yourself first. Yeah. Everyone can learn, but it's not easy. Or you can bring a coach. You can hire me.
Good point.
Because we are not biased by the existing beliefs of your operating principles. So this person here, Dr. Strange.
Dr. Strange?
Dr. Strange, yeah. So he had strong beliefs about science and like the things work, up until the point that he got the problem with his limbs, and he's sick for spiritual help, like self-healing, things that he didn't believe. So he changed his own beliefs in order to improve himself. So can you?
I'm Dr. Strange.
Other than that, thank you. Questions or lunch? Yeah.
I was just thinking, I love making stupid jokes. So we have
Mà em có phải
a
gọi
lot
nó
of
quan trọng
house
không? Em
in
bật live view với nó đấy.
meaning
Bật live view,
the
đây nốt
go
live view
live
nó đâu
in
đấy.
Word, so huge meeting.
Cầm quay đi.
I need to disrupt. It's something that everybody is trying.
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking, so I'm a huge fan of Monty Python because they are completely crazy. Just go on YouTube, put this thing, always look at the bright side of life. When you have his son to be killed, he's singing on the cross.
Yeah.
And I put this on the meeting. And then you have the guys, and you say, you're insane, they just stop laughing, breaking down the tension. They say, okay, now problem solved. It's helpful, sometimes disruptive.
It is.
And with the laughter, it's helpful for the tensions. Great session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's good. I don't know how many of you knows that in China, usually people goes to university, parents pick up majors for kids. And for me, my dad picked up the major for myself. But the major, even now, I cannot speak in English. I don't know the term. I don't know. But I have the belief, to pick up my major in computer science. I love games, and at that time, now I still love it. But later, now I feel the same thing. One day, my kid, my boy, told me that, Dad, I want to be a guitar player. I tried to change him, but now he is just 9 years old. I don't know. 9 years later, when he tried to enter the university, whether I want to pick up a major for him.
Completely agree. I had this problem with my oldest daughter. You say, oh, you're ready, you get your degree, now you go to university. What do you want to be? I want to be a makeup artist. Do you have a second option?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I try to impact my boy. I say, okay, play guitar is cool. It's you can treat it as a hobby. But you cannot make money from that.
The last 10 years ago, my mom said, okay, yeah, oh no, my ex-wife said to me, Pierre, Scrum is cool, okay, what do we eat on Monday? Well,
the same. This is funny. Lunchtime?
Yeah, it is.
Lunch?
Yeah.
Finish homework before lunch?